Coach Roos, you've had two home games here in the WNIT, and now you're getting ready for a third. Can you just talk about, I guess, your overall feeling on your team coming off the wins over SMU and then Duquesne?
Well, we've definitely caught some momentum. When you beat SMU, the Conference USA champs, that was a fantastic win for our program. Then beating Duquesne, a team arguably that should have been in the NCAA tournament with an RPI as high as 36 in the country out of 345. So we've put together two back-to-back good performances at home by our kids. We've had different people step up. Jill Stein in particular had her career high 16 points last game. The game before that against SMU, Jillian Haffel, our point guard, had 23. So we're getting contributions from a handful of people inside and outside, and we're looking to carry that momentum against an extremely talented Drexel team coming in here on Thursday. They're a team that probably our fans don't know a whole lot about, but they're from the Colonial Conference, same conference as Delaware and JMU, and both teams that are still playing in postseason as well. But they had a chance to go to the NCAA against Delaware, lost in the championship game, but this will be the first time playing against them in Bowling Green history. And as I was joking with a couple people earlier, if you had to ask a Drexel kid where Bowling Green was, I don't know if they would be able to answer that, and vice versa. I don't know if our kids would be able to answer where Drexel is. So we'll find out a lot about each other over the next couple of days in preparation for this game on Thursday. But they're an extremely talented team that is ranked high in some national statistics. They average in the top 10 in three-point percentage made, averaging over 7 a game. They're in the top 5 in assist-to-turnover ratio nationally. They are also in the top 15 in scoring defense, only allowing 51.8 points per game. So we'll have our hands full on Thursday.
Um, and then, I guess player-wise, I mean, I know they have some talented kids across the board, but Holly Mershon, I'm guessing conference player of the year caliber kid. I mean, with an All-American in your conference down at Delaware, you're probably not going to. She didn't get that award, but am I correct? I mean, she's one of those caliber kids.
Yeah, Mershon is first team All Colonial and is averaging over 19 points a game. In their last game, their second round win against Harvard, she poured in 32 points. But as I said, she's averaging 19 points, has put up 661 points so far her senior year, is over a 1,500 point scorer. Is pretty versatile at 5'10", will bring the ball up the floor, can also post up, as an extremely good cutter in their system where they run kind of a Philly motion as well. So she'll play the majority of the game and will be all over the court. Not only does she shoot the ball well at the arc, but she's got an extremely good mid-range game as well as a post-up game with her back to the basket. So and you throw in another post player for them, and Taylor Wooten, who also received all Colonial Conference accolades as well as Mershon, and their last game she had over 20. So between the two of those kids, they had 53 of their 82 points, and between the two of them during the regular season, they were putting up over 50% of their scoring. So they have a good inside-outside punch, and as I said, we'll need to contain them. Those two kids are so quality scorers that I don't think you can shut them down, but we'll need to hold them at their average or below their average, and can't allow them to have career days like they both recently had.
This is non-conference season in November, December. You play some teams you're maybe not necessarily too familiar with, but that schedule's been set since the previous spring or summer at the latest, so you've had some time to scout them. Then you get into the MAC, and this year, for example, you had 19 games in a row against MAC teams, and by the end you know everything they're doing, they know everything you're doing. How different is it, and what sort of good and bad things does it present that now all of a sudden, boom, you're into games where you're not familiar with them, they're not familiar with you? I mean, what's the preparation like for you and your players as you get into these NIT games?
Well, it's extremely short preparation for the players, because right now, I mean, we've tapered practices back so much so that we're barely going 2 hours every day. So when you look at real time on the court and in the film room, you're probably looking at only about 8 to 9 hours. Yet the staff is putting in more hours than that, watching film and creating a scouting report and a game plan. But short preparation is better than no preparation at this time of the year. So we have several game films on them, and as I said, this is a coach that has played at Villanova and has a lot of tendencies to the Villanova spread offense, and we played Villanova earlier in the year during Thanksgiving, so we're a little bit familiar with this style. Yet at this time of year, anything goes. Yet it is a short preparation for our staff as well as for Drexel staff.
And then kind of touching on the kids again, how valuable is it to have these additional practices and games? Not only for the seniors to give them more chances to play, but just for the rest of the team that'll be coming back next year. Just how valuable is it to get to keep playing like this?
Well, I'll give you an example. The majority of the teams that aren't playing in postseason have already been in postseason workouts for over 2 weeks. So there's a friend of ours who's been in postseason for over 4 weeks. So you anytime you can play as opposed to practice is a lot more fun, but we're still doing some individual skill workouts during our practice time in addition to preparation for our next opponent. So we're doing a little bit of both, but just continuing to work on team chemistry. It has been fantastic when you can keep still playing and still winning.
And I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask anyway. I mean, how nice is it to not only have these home games just in terms of your kids getting to play at home, but how, for the fans, getting to play in front of that fan base a couple more times?
Well, to be honest with you, I think the loudest roar came in the last game against Duquesne, where Jill Stein hit a 3 as the shot clock was getting ready to go off, and I think everybody jumped out of their seat. And if you had a look at that play and another play where she got a 2-pointer as the buzzer was getting ready to sound as well, and those 2 buckets, I haven't heard the Stroh Center as loud throughout the year as it was for those two shots. So it's been a lot of fun riding the momentum of our fans, and those 2 plays were game changers in that game. Not only did we score as opposed to coming up empty and letting it be a defensive rebound for Duquesne, but it definitely changed the momentum in the arena and forced Duquesne to call a timeout, and just you could tell the energy was definitely on our side.
All right, Coach. I know you have to go get ready, but it'll be Drexel at home this Thursday at 7. Just any other last-minute thoughts? Anything that?
I'm just really excited for the MAC. Of the 16 teams that are remaining in the WNIT, the most representation is from our conference. When you look at Ball State, Toledo, and BG, and it says a lot about what the top teams in the conference were able to do, and Central Michigan being in the NCAA, as well as Akron and Miami making it to the WNIT, but losing in the first rounds. I feel that our conference has an extremely good showing in postseason play, and that's can only help in recruiting for across the board, and will pay dividends for all teams.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Mike.